Hey there, spooky seekers. Welcome to Global Ghostly Encounters, the channel where we dive deep into the chilling tales of real incidents of the supernatural from all around the world. I am your guide through the realms of the unknowns. On this channel, we explore real-life scary stories, ghostly encounters, black magic, and spine-tingling experiences that people from across the globe have generously shared with us. If you want to share your real stories, videos, or clips with us, please email us at globalghostlyEncounters@gmail.com. Check more details in the description below. Let's get started with today's story, sent by Wilson from New Zealand. The city, once a symphony of honking horns and bustling footsteps, had become a desolate stage draped in an unnerving silence. Week 8 of the lockdown, and Sarah felt the cobwebs of isolation stretch across her mind like ghostly filaments. The sun, banished by an endless curtain of grey clouds, barely peeked through the grime-coated windows, casting long skeletal shadows that danced a macabre ballet on the peeling wallpaper. Unease burrowed deep, fueled by the flickering news snippets on the dying laptop screen. Glitching warnings, pixelated doctors with haunted eyes, and statistics spiraling skyward like malevolent vines. Then there were the whispers, insidious tendrils of sound slithering through the air vents, carrying fragments of forgotten lore, tales of an ancient plague unleashed by a forgotten ritual. One dreary afternoon, amidst the oppressive quiet, Sarah unearthed a dusty box in the attic. Its faded carvings depicting grotesque figures and indecipherable runes ignited a morbid curiosity. Inside, nestled among moth-eaten toys, lay a weathered board game, its title, Memento Mori, a jarring whisper against the stale air. Drawn by an unseen force, Sarah set it up, the pieces clacking like bones on the table. As she moved them, the whispers intensified, the shadows on the walls morphing into monstrous shapes. Suddenly, the board pulsed with an acrid green light, the painted figures writhing to life, their skeletal limbs scraping against the wood. Panic turned her blood to ice. She fled, the creatures slithering after her, their guttural roars echoing through the silent house. Her sanctuary became the cramped basement, the whispers gnawing at the walls, promising oblivion if she dared open the door. Days bled into nights, punctuated by gnawing hunger and the chilling symphony of shadows. She hoarded her dwindling food, scavenging the forgotten corners of the house. Then, amidst the cobwebs and dust, she stumbled upon a leather-bound diary, its pages brittle with age. Its faded ink spoke of a man trapped in a similar lockdown, driven mad by the whispers and the very shadows that now stalked her. He mentioned a ritual, a summoning circle etched in the basement floor, a desperate attempt to appease the darkness. Desperation, a bitter cocktail of fear and defiance burned in her throat. Could this be the answer, the path to freedom, or a descent into further madness? Tracing the faded circle with shaking fingers, she felt the whispers intensify, a chorus of mocking laughter and gnashing teeth. The air crackled and a tendril of inky blackness coalesced in the center, growing, expanding, taking shape. It was then she realized her mistake. The diary hadn't spoken of appeasing the darkness, but of binding it. She, in her blind panic, had become the architect of her own doom. The creature, a hulking mass of eyes and teeth, lunged. Her scream died in her throat, crushed by the weight of despair. But just as its claws raked her arm, a flicker of sunlight, defiant and golden, breached the boarded window. The creature recoiled, the whispers turning into shrieks of agony. Sunlight, the one thing it feared, the one weapon she hadn't considered. With a desperate surge of adrenaline, Sarah smashed the basement window, shards of glass raining down as the sun's rays flooded the room. The creature wailed, dissolving into tendrils of smoke, sucked back into the shadows from which it came. The whispers faded, replaced by the chirping of returning birds and the distant rumble of a delivery truck. Sarah stood there, bathed in sunlight, shaking and bruised, but alive. The lockdown stretched on, but the silence no longer held the same terror. The shadows remained, a chilling reminder, but the sun too was a truth whispered on the wind, a reminder that even in the darkest corners, a spark of hope could light the way. She rebuilt the boarded window, a symbol not of fear but of resilience. The scars on her arm faded, but the memory of that night, the whispers and the sunlight, remained etched in her soul, a chilling souvenir of the time she stared into the abyss and refused to blink. And every now and then, when the wind howled a little too much or the flickering radio broadcast an eerily familiar glitch, she'd hear a faint echo of that laughter, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks, forever hungry, forever waiting. But now she faced it with a newfound strength, the faint scent of sunlight still clinging to her skin, a whisper of hope that even in the face of a pandemic, even in the depths of isolation, humanity's spark could not be extinguished. Days after the encounter, the shadows in Sarah's apartment seemed dimmer, their whispers fainter. Yet the memory of the creature's hungry eyes and echoing laughter gnawed at her sanity. Each creak of the floorboards, each flicker of the screen sent chills down her spine. The solitude, amplified by the enforced isolation, became a breeding ground for doubt. Was it real? Had the whispers and the creature been merely delusions, fevered hallucinations born of fear and loneliness? Every rational explanation left a nagging unease, a seed of uncertainty that sprouted into paranoia. Driven by a morbid curiosity and a sliver of hope, Sarah delved deeper into the forgotten legends whispered on the wind. The city's library, abandoned and eerily silent, became her sanctuary. Dusty tomes whispered tales of long-lost rituals, hidden passages beneath the forgotten cobblestones, and a malevolent entity known as the Whisperer, born from the collective fear and isolation of a past plague. Her research culminated in a faded map, its intricate lines tracing a secret tunnel beneath the city, leading to a hidden chamber where the Whisperer was said to be tethered to the mortal world. A desperate gambit, a suicide mission whispered by the very fear it sought to quell. Armed with the map and a flickering flashlight, Sarah descended into the labyrinthine darkness beneath the city. The air grew thick with damp earth and a cloying smell of decay. Rats scurried through the shadows, their beady eyes reflecting the faint beam of her torch. The whispers, once confined to her apartment, echoed through the tunnels, a menacing chorus urging her back to the surface. Finally, guided by the map's fragile parchment, Sarah stumbled upon a cavernous chamber, its walls adorned with grotesque murals depicting scenes of suffering and despair. In the center, bound by chains of rusted iron, writhed a monstrous figure, its ethereal form coalescing from the swirling shadows. The Whisperer, its eyes like bottomless pits, burned with an unholy hunger. Its raspy voice, an amalgamation of 1,000 tormented souls, whispered promises of oblivion, of succumbing to the sweet embrace of endless sleep. It offered her a choice: join it, become part of the consuming darkness, or face its wrath as an ember of defiance amidst the encroaching night. Sarah, fueled by a newfound strength born of desperation and the ghosts of countless whispered stories, refused. She hurled the diary that chronicled the entity's summoning, its pages igniting against the creature's ethereal form. The cavern echoed with the Whisperer's shriek, a symphony of pain and fury as it recoiled from the burning testament to human resilience. Fueled by her defiance, Sarah lunged, tearing at the chains with her bare hands. Rust caked her skin, metal bit into her flesh, but she persevered. With a final agonizing tug, the chains gave way, the Whisperer roaring in defiance as it dissolved into a torrent of inky blackness, sucked back into the abyss from which it came. Silence descended upon the chamber, broken only by the dripping of water and the ragged rasp of Sarah's breath. She had won, or perhaps at least bought herself a reprieve. She stumbled back through the tunnels, the echoes of the Whisperer's final scream clinging to the walls, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within. Emerging into the sunlit world, Sarah blinked against the unfamiliar brightness. The city, still cloaked in lockdown, felt almost welcoming. The whispers were gone, replaced by the faint cacophony of returning life. She had returned from the depths, forever marked by her encounter, but carrying within her a spark of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity that even in the face of utter darkness refused to be extinguished. The world outside continued its struggle against the invisible foe, but for Sarah, the battle lines had shifted. The enemy was no longer just a virus, but the fear and isolation it bred. Armed with the lessons learned in the shadows, she emerged as a beacon of resilience, a whisper of hope in the deafening silence of the lockdown. She shared her story, not to terrify but to empower, to remind others that even in the darkest hours, the human spirit could find strength in unexpected places, to urge them to resist the whispers, to reach out to one another, and to find light in the collective darkness. And perhaps, just perhaps, together they could rewrite the ending of this grim tale, not with fear and isolation, but with resilience and the enduring flicker of human connection. This, she realized, was her true victory, her escape from the whisperer's grasp, not to vanish into the sunlight, but to carry the lessons of the darkness within. A firebrand lighting the way towards a brighter dawn, even in the lingering shadows of an uncertain future. Again, we would like to thank Wilson for sharing this chilling horror story with us. If you want to share your real stories, videos, or clips with us, please email us at GlobalGhostlyEncounters@gmail.com. Check more details in the description below. Please like, share, and subscribe to Knowledge Bank. Don't forget to press the bell icon to stay up to date. See you next time with a new real story.